Let's get the facts. I'm gonna put some facts in here when it comes to this because I think sometimes people, they tend to forget certain facts, and I know when I start talking about the facts, it kind of ruins some delusions when it comes to the more diehard Snyder fans, I guess you could say. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about, obviously when we had this whole, of course, on Wednesday I talked about obviously talked about Aaron Pierre getting the John Stewart Green Lantern role, and seeing the reactions, of course, you have the reaction of people saying, oh yeah, he's just Twitter cast him and everything, and it's like, okay, there's that, and then of course there's that whole the backlash of like, oh, he's not black enough, which was very weird. The whole, Wayne T. Carr. Been seeing the image of Wayne T. Carr as Green Lantern, as John Stewart's Green Lantern. Obviously Zack posted the image. He posted the image of Wayne T. Carr fully. Obviously we saw the images from behind the scenes of them filming that scene in Zack's driveway. And then there's just one shot of him, holding up the ring, and he's just like kind of posing. It's a beautiful shot. They put the background, they put the costume on him because obviously he was wearing like the mocap costume. And so I've been seeing that a lot, of course, because, naturally there's just Snyder fans that just don't want anything to do with the DCU. So when something happens, and especially this, it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to post this image. And I saw it many times, and I saw people going back and forth with all it. I just wanted to specifically talk about that whole thing because it's just funny seeing the discourse out there and everything like that when it comes to all this. When I saw, okay, so let's get the facts. I'm gonna put some facts in here when it comes to this because I think sometimes people, they tend to forget certain facts, and I know when I start talking about the facts, it kind of ruins some delusions when it comes to the more diehard Snyder fans, I guess you could say. Is okay, so when that was filmed, when that scene was filmed, for backstory when it comes to all that, obviously Zack wanted to have John Stewart's Green Lantern in Justice League, but he was forbidden to do so. Jeff Johns forbid him to do so. So Zack, being who he is, and I love that he is, decided to go rogue a little bit, and it's like, all right, well, if I want to do this, and I say, let's just do it in the driveway. Get some green screens. We'll get an actor, and I want this scene. I want it to be John Stewart's Green Lantern that shows up at the end, shows up at Bruce Wayne's lake house to talk about what's coming. We saw concept art, and so he did it. So we went rogue and did it. So where did Wayne T. Carr, come from? Well, he was Ray's friend who he worked with in theater. He worked with theater, so that's where Wayne came from. And I think it was just like one of the things that I was trying to when I was thinking about it and seeing all the discourse, I was going well, you know what, guys, I'm just saying. And again, if it would have been great to see Wayne T. Carr's performance, and even if it actually went forward and he continued, would have been great. I'm sure he would have knocked it out of the park. I've talked to him. You can go back. When we found out that he was the guy, he came on the Vox stream. We talked. Nicest guy in the world. Saw him at the Rebel Moon premiere and everything. But what's funny is what I was thinking about a lot of things when it came to that specific scene, is the fact that if Zack was allowed to use John Stewart in Justice League, odds are he wouldn't have had Wayne as his John Stewart, because like I said, he kind of went rogue and got somebody. And I don't think at the time, I don't know if it's actually, I just remember seeing this being talked about too, is Wayne wasn't even part of the SAG-AFTRA at the time. So it was that's why he was like, oh, I can get away with it. I don't have an actual actor. He's just the guy doing a favor. And again, Ray's friend. I mean, maybe not 100%, but hey, maybe Zack would have just been like, no, that's the guy, because Zack is really good at casting. But he wouldn't have probably been John Stewart if Zack was allowed to do what he wanted to do. So then another thing that I was seeing today too was the fact that it's like, okay, Zack, and I saw it a couple of times. I even commented on somebody that on Twitter, but he was kind of trolling. But at the same time, there were people out there that I saw that are like, yeah, they should just leak the scene. Just leak the scene. And I'm just going, all right, that would be dumb to leak the scene. I mean, first off, it wouldn't be completed. There would not be any visual effects because they just did that one shot it would just be green screen, and then it would be Wayne T. Carr in those mocap PJs. So it wouldn't be anything, finished, first off. And then according to him, he even said when I talked to him, I mean, it's not much different than what the Martian Manhunter scene that's in the movie is. Similar dialogue. That's what he said. It's similar dialogue. Of course, it's going to be tweaked. It's not going to, you're not going to, it's going to be tweaked for Jon Stewart. And then there was even one point where they were even wanting to, I think Harry Lennox said that when he came in to record that scene, that they were even thinking, well, maybe it can be Martian Manhunter and Jon Stewart. But again, Warner Brothers is like, nope, you can't use Jon Stewart. You just can't use him. So a lot of people were saying like, oh yeah, leak the scene. And I'm going, yeah, okay, that would be smart. Yeah, leak the scene. So then, Zack gets sued up the ass and then he loses his project. It's 300 project he's doing with Warner Brothers. I mean, that relationship's gotten better. Not to mention he would just like, yeah, it would not be a good thing. And then there was I saw something where like when it came to a pushback of like, well, you could do something like how Ryan Reynolds and Tim Miller leaked out the Deadpool footage. And I'm just kind of going, no, that is not the same. That is definitely not the same. It's not the same, guys. It's not the same because Fox gave the green light to Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds to make that footage. They gave them the green light to do that so then they could pitch it. And of course, Fox turned it down. They said, nope, we're not going to do that, which ridiculous. So they didn't do that. So then one of them, out of 4 people, Ryan Reynolds, Tim Miller, and a couple other people, decided to leak it online. They leaked it online, and it actually benefited them. It benefited them because look where we are now. We just had Deadpool and Wolverine, 3rd Deadpool movie, $1 billion. It benefited. It worked out. It would not benefit Zack if he were to leak out this Green Lantern scene. Maybe at one point before the Snyder Cut was announced, maybe it could have did it then. It could have benefited him then. But at the same time, Zack got away with a lot of things by just showing still images. You start leaking some footage, that's where you got to start. That's where lawsuits are going to really happen. So that's another thing too. It's like, no, there's just nothing that would benefit him leaking it out. Yes, it would be great to see. It'd be great to see it fully in there. And I know there's, some of the people that are, doing the whole sell the thing and all this stuff, they have on their posters, they have like this whole slate of movies that would cost like $1.5 billion to make for Netflix. And then, of course, they not only want, Justice League 2 and 3, they want another cut of Justice League, the first one that's with Green Lantern. And it's just like, wow, it is kind of funny. But I was just like, I wanted to kind of just like talk about that a little bit. Just kind of like, mention like that, the whole thing right there. Again, Wayne, I wish Wayne could have got his, his day in the light, out of the darkness into the light. I wish he would have gotten it. And maybe one of these days it'll be, and I remember Zack even said like the footage is locked away in Warner Brothers. The footage that, I'm sure he's got some backup somewhere. I'm sure he still does, but it would not benefit him really at all to just like, oh yeah, let's just leak it out there. And blah. Then again, he did make that joke, just leaving a flash drive somewhere, but I just don't, the fact that we got the Snyder cut out and now Zack's like, created more universes, and then of course the UFC stuff and everything like that. It just wouldn't benefit him. It just wouldn't benefit him. So yeah, just wanted to give like a little my 2 cents more on that. So cheers.